Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Lisboa. I shall start by saying please forgive the use of the movable camera rather than the stable camera that I usually use for these rules instructions. This is such a large game, I just simply can't fit it onto a stable cam. So check out the immensity of it. It is huge. That has eaten up about half of my table, which seats 8 people. So here we go in Lisboa. We are all nobles trying to rebuild the city of Lisboa, or of Lisbon should I say, in Portugal, after the incredible destruction that happened on it in the mid-1700s. It was hit by an earthquake, as represented by these cubes of rubble. It was hit by a flood, as represented by the blue cubes of rubble, and it was hit by fire, as represented by the red bits of rubble. Not necessarily in that order, but it doesn't matter. What we're trying to do is rebuild the city. There is a heck of a lot of stuff going on in this game, so let's run through it as quickly as we can. I'm going to split this into 2 videos. You're going to need to watch both parts to have a full idea of the game. So the game is won and lost with wigs, which look like points. That's the track around the outside of the board, this one here. Your marker starts on 5. You have 5 wigs to start with. You start with 5 event cards that look like these. In your turn, you will play one of those cards, and then at the end of, and do a whole bunch of stuff, and then at the end of your turn, you will draw one more card. The game is split into 2 parts or 2 periods. Each period finishes when either 3 out of these 4 decks are empty, or the first period ends when one player has achieved 2 sets of rubble, and the game finishes when one player has achieved 4 sets of rubble. I'll talk about achieving rubble later, but that is the end condition for the game. The way to win the game is obviously to get the most wigs, and wigs are given at the end of the game for these elements. I know they just look like symbols at the moment and icons, but I'll try and catch them on the way through, but that's the stuff you're working towards. You'll understand what they are as we go. The other basic element of the game is that all information is public information, with the exception of these starting 5 cards, or the 5 cards in your hand, the event cards. You will play cards into one of 2 places. Either you will play a card to the top section of the board, which is called the Royal Court, or you will play a card into what's called your portfolio. So I'm going to deal with the Royal Court in this video. I'll deal with the portfolio in the next video. The first card that I've played into the Royal Court is a card that allows you to sponsor an event. There are 2 types of cards. There are the cards that look like that, and there are the cards that have the face of a guy on it. So the ones that have an element in the middle is sponsoring an event. To sponsor an event, you're going to pay the cost next to the treasury cube. So he'll pay 3 money to sponsor the event. Once you sponsor the event, you'll then action whatever is in the middle. So that icon matches this icon. There will be other icons like that that will appear on those cards, or the card will show goods. So these are resource goods, and if you sponsor an event with this card, you would get 2 of that resource, which is material. The other action you have, or you could do when you play into the court, is you could visit a noble's office. What that looks like is putting one of the face cards up into that same area. You will then spend influence. Influence is this track right here. On the influence track, if you get to 10 influence, you'll gain a wig for that, and you'll learn how to gain influence later. But at the moment, we're talking about spending influence. So the way we spend influence is look at the court of the noble you wish to visit. Have a look at how many of these citizen meeples of other colors, other than your own color. So say this is the yellow player doing this. There is 1 other colored citizen in the office of that particular noble. So it will cost 1 influence plus whatever the influence value is next to the white cube. So at the moment it's 1. If this moves down, it'll be plus an extra piece of influence. So at the moment it costs 1 influence to visit the green noble. So if that's yellow player doing that, he will move his influence counter down 1. While I'm on the influence track, you'll notice there's some little coin markers underneath there. If orange is needing to pay money for something, and we'll see what we need to pay money for later, and if he doesn't have enough money, so say he needs to pay 5 money and only has 4, what he can do is pull his influence marker down the track, and that counts as 1 more money. So each time you move down to the next symbol, it's worth 1 more money. So yellow has played into the green noble. He's paid the influence to go and visit that noble. What he now gets to do is one of the state actions. So that's the 2 on the side of each noble's thing. I'm going to explain what each of those 6 icons mean in the second video. So let's not worry about them at the moment. Just remember you'll get to do one of them for free. Then he must do the action that is in the green space. This action is to build. And when you build, you are going to build a store. That is this part of the board over here. So to build a store, so I've gone to the green noble, I'm building a store. I will choose one of these 4 rows, and those rows, the color of those rows tell me what type of resource, what type of good I will get out of the store when I build a store facing that road. So for example, I might choose to build facing the gold road. Now, if I'm building facing the gold road, there's a couple of things that happen. Firstly, I'm going to get whatever the icon is underneath the building that I put down. So in this case, I will take one of the material resource and put that into my warehouse. Then I will look across the line or the row to these 3 cubes here, and I will remove one of those cubes. That cube will come down into my cube space. I'm trying to get sets of those cubes. When I get a set of those cubes, I'll take this out, throw it up on that guy. At the moment, the set hasn't happened, but a set would look like that. Once I've taken my piece of rubble, I then add up. There's 2 blue, so everything to the right in those 3, and then the 3 at the bottom. So there's another 2 blue and 1 blonde. So that's 4 blue and 1 blonde. We then look at this track. The blonde one is worth 3, so that's rubble from the earthquake. So it's going to cost him 3 money. Each of the blues is worth 1, and there were 4 of them, so that's 7 money. Plus, you need to add the number next to where the treasury icon is. So that will cost him 10 money in order to build on there. So he'll pay that 10 money to the bank and build there. And then the next thing he can do is take one of these houses and put that onto the store to show that he owns the store. Now you notice there's some icons next to some of these houses. So you need to, they are benefits when certain things happen. I'll go into what they mean when they come up. But for the moment, when you put a house onto one of your stores, you must take it from the bottom of one of the 3 rows. So if I take that one, put it up there, that shows that I own a store that will produce the gold resource. Third noble, here's the king, the red one. When you visit him, once again, pay the influence to go and visit him, and you will do this action. What this action is building a public building or opening a public building. Public buildings, you're going to get benefit from them, but everyone is also going to get benefit from them. So the cost of a public building is in the officials. So to start with, you need one of these tiles, which everyone starts with. Do you notice there's 3 officials on the bottom of that tile? That's the cost of building the building. So I flip that over into that space. I take 3 officials that are mine. So let's say that's what the board looked like. I'd probably come up and go 1, 2, 3. They come back onto my own board. If you don't have the officials up there, you cannot do this action, by the way. And that was a green plan that I've done, which means I need to build the green building that's come through. Where do I build it? I build it on any of these spaces here, or on the right-hand side, or one of the 4 above. The ones on the left and right, or east and west of the board, do the same thing as each other. So I'm going to place that there. I get both of those cubes to go into my my rubble bundles or sets. I get the bonus that's underneath there. So in this case, I would take 5 money from the bank. And then, because I'm playing on the left or right, we look at the colors on the bottom here. And what that means is every store on this row, row D, that opens up onto either the gold or the brown street is going to get scored. So there's 1 building on the gold street, which means he is going to get 3 wigs. And that's the yellow. Who owns that? So yellow, 1, 2, moves forward 3 wigs. Now, if later on someone were to build there, they will also gain the points for the row they're on because of the gold building, and same on the brown buildings. If I were to the building at the top, the numbers on the bottom of the card no longer matter. It now matters which street it's on. So everything on this street will get its score, assuming its door is facing Gold Street. When I play the blue, I get to take decree cards. Decree cards are these ones on the side. They give you an endgame bonus. There's a whole bunch of icons there. It's explained in the booklet that every player should have. So I will take one of them. That stays open so everyone can see what I'm working towards. And if I've got a cube here, I can use one of those cubes to take another one. So I've got two things that I'm working towards. Okay, I think that'll do it for the first video. There's 2 of the actions that are available to us. So basically the 2 actions that are available when you play up into the court. Please go on and watch the other video to see what the other actions are for when you play into your own portfolio, and for the rest of the rules for the game. I hope this helps you get Lisboa to the table. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining, and until next time, enjoy gaming.